y'all. Welcome back to XOMO. My name is Mo, and thank you for joining me. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for coming. And please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe if you find purpose out of this video and it actually helps you stay calm, which is today's topic. So I'm a person who's fairly level-headed, cool, calm, collected. Some people have even said as cool as a cucumber. And I was thinking, what can I really share with people that people can get something out of? And it's how to stay calm. People think that I'm just naturally calm, but no, it's actually been a skill that I've built up at least for the past 10 years. Truth be told, since I was 16, I was looking for ways to just avoid drama and be stress-free and cool, calm, and collected. But yeah, so today I'm gonna offer 7 tips that I use to help me stay calm and level-headed. And all that jazz. I do want to say that I don't want anybody to take away this video thinking that you should always be cool, calm, and collected, and you should never have emotional outbursts or hard days where you experience sadness, grief, anger, or even stress, you know what I mean? But I just feel in today's society, especially with the hustle and bustle culture of capitalism, a lot of the times capitalism is not meant for us to be peaceful, or calm, or to be at peace with the present moment. It's really just all about making money, and anything that's in the way of making money doesn't service capitalism. So yeah, I just want us to learn ways to help manage our stress and anxiety to have a better us, you know what I mean? I want this for you. Let me help you. And with that said, let's get right into it. So my first tip is to not worry unless you have to, and spoiler alert, you never have to. I learned this when I was maybe this was even before 16, truth be told. This was maybe 12. My friend Paisley, her mom and I, we were taking a trip to California. It was a road trip. And I remember we were talking about something. I forget what it was. But her mother said that she doesn't worry about anything. When a stressful situation arises, if there was something that she could do about it, she would complete that task. You know what I mean? If she couldn't do anything about it, she would kind of forget about it and move on. And so that's kind of my first tip that I use to be really stress-free. An example you can apply this to is let's say you lose your wallet. Okay, nobody wants to lose their wallet. Let's say you lose your wallet, and then all your cards are in there. You know what I mean? Or all this cash, your IDs, insurance cards, all this stuff that you really need. I will say if you need to experience stress for a little bit, do that, but keep it at a minimum. You know what I mean? Because stressing and worrying and thinking about all the money you're going to lose or all the things that could be happening or all the places where it's going to be isn't really going to help you. I mean, you can look for the wallet, definitely do that, but after a while, you've been looking for 90 minutes, you're probably not going to find it. And with that being said, after that you want to take the following steps you need to take to make sure that your money is safe or whatever, you know what I mean? You want to call all your credit cards and all your banks and make sure that you freeze your cards. You find out what you need to do to get a new ID, you know what I mean? File a statement with your bank. Maybe you need to report it lost or stolen. Maybe there's somebody in the building you're at where you can talk to see if they have a lost and found. All these things are going to get you closer to your wallet, or at least closer to a state where you don't have to worry about what could happen once you've lost your wallet. So if there's something you can do that, and don't worry. Because truth be told, we just lose time when we worry and stress ourselves out when there's actually an action step we can be taking. My next tip kind of goes along with that, and that's to become a solution-oriented person. The analogy I'm going to use is working in retail. So I've worked in community service, not community girl, customer service. I have worked in community service, but that's not where my point was going. So I've worked in customer service for at least 10 years now. And everybody knows, sometimes you just run into people who are just there to have a bad day. You know what I mean? And so they'll come in and they'll complain about this, they'll complain about that, they'll complain about that, but they'll never really get to what they want or what their need is. You know what I mean? So you got to be that driving force in your own life, because you can sit down and complain about things all day long, and you can have a bad day if you want to have a bad day. But the moment you become a solution-oriented person, you really find ways to solve the issue, squash it, and be good. If there's something you can do, or if there's something you can do, if a stressful customer comes in, I like to do everything in my power to get them satisfied, or at least out of my face. You know what I mean? You're yelling and screaming, doing this, that, and the third. What do you want? is there anything I can help you with, ma'am? Because right now you've just listed me like a list of complaints. There was this time when this lady came in and she was stressed about everything being too sweet or too sour. She wanted the lemonade, but she thought it might be too sweet. She wanted to get like the sea bass, she thought it might be too sweet. I'm like, honey, like, and she's like, do you think it's sweet? Because if it's sweet, I don't want to send it back. Or if it's like too salty, I don't want to have to wait for another plate of food. I was like, ma'am, we can put everything like no salt. There's no salt options, and you can salt it yourself at the table. Boom, solutions. You know what I mean? If the lemonade is too sweet, I would suggest getting a tea, perhaps. You know what I mean? Maybe do it. I like to water down my lemonade, but I can understand that's not everybody's John. You know? So it's just like finding a solution to where you can like solve the problem at hand. So my third tip is to find a grounding practice. This is something I do every morning, if not every morning, at night. Kudos points if you do it like once you wake up and before you go to bed. But this can just really be anything. So my thing is kind of like meditating, and I meditate. So I wake up, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I eat breakfast, and once I'm done eating breakfast, I meditate. That's my grounding practice. That's just one thing that I do for myself every day. It can be as short as 5 minutes. I would say give yourself more time. 30 minutes is pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. An hour is really nice, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, just take some time out of your day for yourself. Say, find something that you can do to help you just like ground yourself, connect you with peace, be in the present moment, so that like when stressful situations come out throughout the day, you know what that sensation feels like. Some people go on days and days and days without ever like taking a breath or having a moment of calm. And you want to put that into your day because you're never going to have it. You're never going to have it unless you make that time for yourself. So you have to develop a grounding practice. Some things that you can do, again, like meditating, doing yoga, working out, reading, listening to music, drinking tea, journaling, counting to 100, taking nature walks, you know what I mean? Stepping outside, listening to the birds in the trees, everything, everybody's gonna need something different. So whatever you can find that can really get you, you know, to like calm down, to exhale, have a moment of release. Whatever that is for you, find some time to do it every single day. The next thing is you want to identify your stressors. Now, identifying your stressors, it's going to help you figure out how to avoid them or to like squash them. And then it's also sometimes we don't know what's actually stressing us out. Sometimes we don't know what the anxiety is coming from, and being able to clock it is something that's able to help you calm down. Being able to say, oh, I'm only stressed because my roommate came in the house yelling and screaming and about how bad of a day at work they had. You know, so figure out if it's the content you're listening to, if it's the television you're watching, you know, if it's your friends, your roommates, your family members, if it's your work environment, whatever it is, just be sure to identify what's causing your stress, because we don't always know. Because there's been times when somebody else has come in the house and then I get all tense. You know, identify what your stresses are. Do you rub your hands? You know, do your shoulders get tense? Do you clench your booty and your hips? Do you clench your jaw? Do you get a headache? You know, whatever it is, point it out and like try to trace what those triggers are. Because finding out what the triggers are will help you figure out, okay, is this person I need to get away from? If this person is causing me stress all the time, I need to figure out what the issue is with them. Or I just need to avoid them completely. Sometimes that's okay. Sometimes we just should be avoiding the people that cause us stress. As long as we're not avoiding our responsibilities. If somebody like isn't that close to you and causing you stress and they don't want to be calm themselves, girl, don't sacrifice your peace for somebody else. I'm telling you. So my next tip is to find a way to get it out. So I had an acting professor who would always say that our issues are in our tissues. Yeah, and that basically means just that like our problems and the things that like stress us out can get trapped in our bodies, in our muscles. You know, that clenching sensation, or sometimes when you get like knots in your back. That's actually like, sometimes that can just be like some trauma you ain't really dealt with. You know what I mean? Or it's just something that's constantly like stressing you out on a daily basis. So this is similar to the grounding practice where you want to find something to get it out. But I think that like finding a way to get it out is when like an extra stressor comes on. Because there's the everyday stress of like just living life. You know what I mean? But sometimes somebody gets in a car accident, you get a really stressful diagnosis, like you're going through a breakup, excuse me, you have a hard test coming up, you know what I mean? There's tons of like unexpected things that can stress us out. And the thing about like stress and anxiety, they're really just a part of life. Like we can't really completely get away from them. We just have to find out ways to manage them. So what I like to do when I get really stressed is I like to dance. You know, this can be something a little more active as opposed to like listening music. Sometimes I like to sing, I like to dance. When I have a partner, I like to wrestle with them. Like if you're into that, as long as it's consensual, like kickboxing, finding something to get the energy out is really good as well. And I would always recommend have it be something different than your grounding practice. Like if your grounding practice is to do yoga, I don't want your get out an extra like stressor practice to be like yoga as well. You just want to give yourself like multiple venues of having stress leave your body, or you want to have multiple pathways for stress and anxiety to leave your body. My next tip, stop rushing. Stop rushing. We do not have to rush. We do not have to rush. Sometimes I will say that sometimes there are like work environments that cause people stress. You know, I'm not even gonna lie. And it's like, I think if your work environment is causing you stress, like the time deadline when your work is due by needs to be adjusted, or the efficiency of the workplace needs to be adjusted. You need to communicate that to a manager or something, and something needs to be done about it. But anything that's like stressful isn't efficient. When you rush, you get more sloppy, you're bound to make more mistakes, the quality of the work isn't as good, and we don't want these things, right? Or at least I don't. Like when I do something, I want to give it my 100%. And I can't give it my 100% if I'm one, rushing, or if like my mind is already focused on getting to the next thing, you know? So stop rushing. There is an abundance of time in life. Things in life will tell you that you don't have all the time in the world, but you do. You have to take it. Nobody's going to give you the time that you need and that you deserve. The time that you need and deserve, you have to take for yourself. So if you do anything, take it. You deserve it. I personally plan things with an abundance of time in mind. You know what I mean? So like, what was it? Like I wanted to get like 10,000 followers. You know what I mean? So I gave myself 6 months. I didn't know how long it was going to take, but that seemed like an extraneous, an abundant, an extra amount of time. I didn't think it was going to take that long, but I felt like it would. But because I wasn't stressing about like meeting my deadline, I was really just able to focus on the smaller steps of doing it really well every single day. And I reached my goal in like a month and a half. You know what I mean? But if I would have told myself that I needed to get it done in a month and a half, or God forbid a month, I would have been so stressed that the quality of my work wouldn't have been great. I'm telling you, you cut corners, you try to cheat, and don't cheat yourself. You can't cheat yourself with energy because you get cheated results. So yeah, so just take all the time you need. You deserve it. Stop rushing. You don't have to. Okay, so my last one, I'm not sure if it's really like a tip, but it's just some things to think about, and it refers to like social anxiety. Now, like, I deal with a lot of social anxiety, and I know it never looks that way to other people because I serve cool, calm, and collected. But the thing is, like, I do deal with like a lot of social anxiety. Like a lot of the times I won't speak up because I'm afraid somebody will judge me. I'm afraid I'll say the wrong thing. If I speak, everybody's gonna jump me. Girl, life is never that serious. I don't know what be going on in my mind, but sometimes the situation just feels so like dire. If I'm gonna speak up, everybody's gonna hate what I have to say. Girl, I don't know what your life is like, but 99% of the time, our circumstances aren't that dire. They're not, girl. I promise you, they're not. If you're watching this video, chances are your circumstances aren't that dire. So if you have something to say, you know, if you need to get it out, girl, get it out. Yeah, that's kind of something I wanted to add on too. Sometimes we do need to like yell and scream and be angry. That's perfectly like healthy. Because like if you don't do what your body needs to express, it will be trapped in your body, and that will just like create that knot of stress in your back that's gonna follow you around. So like if you need to cuss somebody out, cuss somebody out. But don't get like trapped in the habit of like being angry and frustrated and upset. Be sure that like once you once you get it out, once you get that expression, that emotion out of your body, that you move on to that step of being solution oriented. I just need to bring that back up. But yeah, so like, express yourself and communicate your ideas to me. I promise you'll always feel better when you do. And again, most of the time we're surrounded by like either our friends, our family, our colleagues, and coworkers. You know what I mean? And if what you have to say is about you, one, just expressing yourself, getting something off of your chest so that you can feel better, or like collaborating so that everybody can like achieve a goal, people want to hear those things. You know what I mean? People want to hear the things that you have to say so that they can like move, so they can like, check that box off and move on with their lives, enjoy their time together. But so I would also say like, so when this happens, I would maybe say like adopt a mantra or like something that can just like this, you can just tell yourself when you recognize that you're having social anxiety, that'll help you speak up. So I know, what is it? Jinx Monsoon from like Drag Race, hers is like water off a duck's back. You know what I mean? Just so like things, when people talk to her and it stresses her out, they just fly off her back and she doesn't take it personally. You know what I mean? Another thing is like, I tell myself sometimes like being vulnerable can cause social anxiety. And when that happens, Brene Brown has a really good quote. It's, I'm not here to be right, I'm here to get it right, And then also knowing and remembering that like perfection is a false narrative. Perfection doesn't exist. You're gonna say something, you're gonna flub up, you're gonna make mistakes. That's just a part of life. You know what I mean? We all do it. We literally all do it. That's a part of life. So thinking that every word or every sentence or every idea that comes out of your mouth is going to be perfect is putting like stress on you that you don't need to live with. Because nobody can do that. Nobody can literally be perfect. It's like, it's the biggest trick we tell ourselves, you know what I mean? That everything I say and everything I do must be perfect the first time around. But that expectation just isn't realistic. And like, acknowledge that you're going to make mistakes, and if you end up hurting somebody's feelings, that's very human. You know what I mean? But from then, become a solution-oriented person, and then move on to like justify the mistake that you made. You know what I mean? Oh, and if you say something embarrassing, girl, just forget about it. Just forget about it. I've said embarrassing things, but when I say embarrassing, girl, it scared me. See, I'm embarrassed now. But the thing that I tell somebody, like, if you're scared you're gonna say something embarrassing or stick your foot in your mouth, like in 6 months, people won't remember this. Sometimes in a month, people won't remember the things you said. I don't remember the things I said a month ago, So yeah, just like, that's life, that's time. If you embarrass yourself, if you stick your foot in your mouth, it'll be okay, because people will forget about it eventually. I promise you. Sometimes I think about that in high school and college. We don't know her. But that is all of my tips. Thank you for watching. If this is gonna help you, please let me know. I want to know what like resonates, what actually seemed helpful, if you're gonna end up using any of the tips. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Subscribe for more like self-care and wellness, or makeup, or like even like just hot takes. I kind of do it all on my page. You can view my page here. If you click this, you can view my page and see my other content. If you want to watch another video, my options are here. All right, thanks again. Bye. Bye, girl.